Hey guys, thank you for coming back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you guys about health insurance for your pet and why it is so important to get it. Alright, so there are so many different kinds of health insurance out there. I know it's getting harder and harder to choose which one. So I briefly want to talk to you guys about, first thing first, on why it is important to get it. So with the new technology that's been going on, even with the human hospitals and now the animal hospitals, we've been having better technology, which means that the bills are becoming more and more expensive to get your pet the care that it needs. God forbid, they get hit by a car or they, eat a sock and they need surgery for that. But it is getting more and more expensive, so I hear a lot of times clients are like, oh, well, I don't want health insurance because they didn't have that, and my pet has been fine so far. Years ago we didn't have that, we don't need that, but the difference between years ago till now is the bills are way more expensive due to the technology. Okay, so how do you decipher what health insurance is good for your pet? So they have a lot of health insurance now. There's more and more names coming out each year. So the way I try and tell them to decipher which one to do is some health insurance cover just vaccines, like annual exam, annual vaccines. They don't cover any emergency fees. And then you have the health insurance for your pet that cover just emergency fees. And then you have the ones that are the in-between. They do exams and vaccines, and then they do a little bit of the emergency fees. And what you want to look for is the percent of what they cover. Now, I always tell clients that it is better to get health insurance for emergencies due to that's where the big bills come. Vaccines, annual exams, they aren't really that expensive. Yes, you do it like every year, but when something does happen, that's where you really want your health insurance for your pet. So another thing you have to look out for is usually the health insurance that are just for emergencies only, they do usually cover a better percentage than the ones who are annual exam and vaccines plus the emergency fees. Usually like the emergency fees with the combo are usually only like a really low percentage of the bill, so you still wind up paying a lot for the emergency bill for your pet. So that's what you want to look out for, is the percentage of how much they would cover. God forbid something does happen and you need that insurance to cover for your pet. Another thing when you're looking up information regarding health insurance and which one to choose, you also want to look into their age limitation. A lot of the times they don't take patients that are up to a certain age, most likely if they're like seniors, they don't usually accept them because they usually have issues already. And that leads me to the next thing, which is a lot of health insurance don't do pre-existing issues, meaning if your pet is diagnosed with something already, they will not cover anything regarding those issues. I had clients come in telling me, oh, my pet has just been diagnosed with kidney issues. Is there any way you could help me get that health insurance you were talking about last week for my pet, so that way they will help me with the bills regarding this medical issue for my pet? And unfortunately, it is too late at that point, which I usually tell them, because at that point they will not cover anything regarding that issue. Another thing I hear a lot of clients tell me is they bring their first puppy in, they're all excited about their new pet, and I come in and I talk to them about health insurance, and I usually get the response a lot, oh, well, we're a puppy, so I'll think about it next year. I don't want health insurance on my dog right now. He's only a year or less. I doubt he's going to need any medical issues. They come back a week later when their dog decided to eat something they weren't supposed to and is currently not eating and not defecating, and then needs surgery because something is stuck in their intestines, which leads to surgery, which leads to a big bill. Then they come to me and they're like, oh, you were right. We're thinking about getting the health insurance now. So even though if your pet is a puppy, kitten, I still highly recommend getting the health insurance, because you never know. That's when they get into a lot of trouble. Kittens, they always bite on wires, they eat string. Dogs, they eat weird things like socks, you know, the end of the bottles, the nookies. They eat a lot of things. People don't realize that they can get in a lot of trouble. What health insurance get you with is usually they will say, oh, well, my health insurance will only be X amount per month, where else the other health insurance is way more per month. But what you really want to look at is what percentage are they paying, is the health insurance paying for when you do get the emergency bill. Now, I almost want to guarantee the one that you're paying more per month is probably paying a higher percent of that bill compared to the one that you're paying way less per month. I'm sure they're only paying like a really low percentage. So if there is anything that happens with your pet, they will only be paying a small amount of that bill compared to if you're paying more into the month, you won't have to worry as much as paying so much for the bill. Another thing to look out for or do research on regarding pet insurance is a lot of pet insurance you have to pay the full bill and then you get the refund in the mail. Now, I do know the health insurance called Trupanion. A lot of animal hospitals have their software hooked up to their computers where they're able to send the bill to them, and then within 15 or 20 minutes they pay whatever percent of the bill that is needed to pay. Therefore, you pay whatever is left of the percent of the bill. Therefore, you don't have to pay the full price and wait for the refund in the mail. You just wait about 15 or 20 minutes in the waiting area to know how much you need to pay. What led me to tell clients and promote as much as possible for people to get pet insurance for their animals, because I've seen way too many times working in this field of clients having to make the decision that they need to put their pet to sleep because unfortunately they can't pay for the bill, the medical bill, whether they got hit by a car, whether they just got diagnosed with something. It is the worst thing to see working in this medical field for me personally. Therefore, I always recommend to clients, please get health insurance. It's probably the best thing. I have seen clients where they're usually tight with money. They just got health insurance. They're thanking me so much that, you know, I recommended the health insurance to them. Now that they can do this for their pet, if they haven't had this health insurance, they wouldn't have done that. They would have made the decision to put their pet to sleep. I've seen it multiple times. These bills can get so expensive. So that's why I highly recommend for clients to get health insurance for their pet, because I don't like to see when clients have to make the decision to put their pet to sleep because they can't afford the bill, especially if it's on like a young puppy or kitten or a young animal. I've seen it plenty of times, and then unfortunately they usually tell me, oh, I should have got health insurance, I should have listened to you, next pet I have, I'm definitely getting health insurance, I'm coming back, and we're gonna put this pet on health insurance. But unfortunately for that pet, it's usually too late. So please, if you're looking at this video, do your research on each health insurance, and see what you can afford per month. Having a certain health insurance is better than not having anything at all. It does help, and I hope you like this video, and I hope it helped you. Alright guys, thank you for watching my other video. I should be making another video shortly. If you're new to this page, please subscribe. That would be awesome. And I should see you guys shortly. Thanks.